This video is going to serve as a refresher on adding and subtracting complex numbers. So remember, a complex number was just something that we'd have a constant, it'd be plus or minus a coefficient along with the imaginary number. This is what we mean by complex numbers. So when we are adding or subtracting complex numbers, let's just get into an example. Actually, I'm going to have a couple examples here, but first example, 5 plus 3i, that's our first complex number. Let's say we were going to add 8 plus 2i. So we're adding two complex numbers together. The key is going to be looking at this operator in the middle of the two complex numbers. Okay. If this is a positive sign, or an addition sign right here, positive, we can just rewrite what's going on without the parentheses. And then it becomes a matter of just combining like terms, much like we were doing with binomials, x's and y's and everything, except this time we're dealing with constants and i's. So we're going to combine our first like term, which is going to be our constants, 8 and 5. 5 plus 8 equals 13. And now we're going to combine our imaginary numbers, which is a positive 3i and a positive 2i together. That gives you a positive 5i. It's as simple as that. But what happens if, and this is the answer to that addition problem right there. What happens, we'll look at another example here, if we are dealing with 3 minus 2i and we're subtracting, that should be, I'm sorry, 3 plus 2i, and we're subtracting 2 plus 4i. Okay, so let's say this is our problem right here. We have this complex number here, and we're subtracting this complex number right here. Well, when we have this negative sign, that means we have to change the sign on everything in here. And then we can rewrite it without using parentheses. So we can drop the parentheses on our first imaginary number. But now we need to change the sign on everything. So that positive 2 becomes a negative 2. That positive 4i becomes a negative 4i. When we go through that process of changing the sign, we just rewrite it without the parentheses. And now we combine like terms, just like we did in our first example. 3 minus 2, that's just 1. And then 2i minus 4i, negative 2i. And there's our answer. So the big thing to remember when we're adding or subtracting imaginary numbers, complex numbers. This is our complex number here, minus a complex number here. If it's a minus, we change the sign on everything going on in here. And then we can rewrite it without the parentheses. If it's an addition problem, we don't have to worry about changing the sign. We can just rewrite it without using the parentheses. And after we rewrite it both ways, then we just combine like terms. So hopefully this will get you through the adding and subtracting complex numbers remediation worksheet and earn you a retake of that section of the exam. If you have any questions while you're working through that worksheet, please email me.